All right, I guess we'll call to order. We'll go ahead and get started. Time is 6:02. I'd like to welcome everybody to Daingerfield-Lone starting in the school district meeting. Thank you for taking out your time to show up and show your interest for Daingerfield-Lone starting in the school district. At this time, I ask everybody to please stand. We have an invocation from our brother Maurice Tiger, followed by the prayer of the leading.
Let us pray. Lord, I come to you thanking you for this day, Lord. Privilege to come into this time, this night, to do the business of our school system, Lord. We thank you for our school system, and thank you for all our administrators and our teachers, and thank you for our students, Lord. We thank you for the students that we will recognize tonight on the math team, Lord. We thank you for the ones that are leading these young people to do their math work, Lord. We thank you for Brother David Brotherton, Lord. Just thank you. And Lord, we have a couple of people in our midst tonight that have problems with health. Kim Glover, she's in the hospital right now having gallbladder surgery. We just pray for your guidance for the doctors and the nurses that are taking care of her. And pray for Mike as he sees about it. And Lord, we just want to pray for Lori Lord, one of our teachers, that she is grieving over the loss of her mother at this time, Lord. So Lord, we just thank you for all the blessings you show to us each day in our lives. And thank you for the privilege of being on this school board, Lord. And thank you for blessing each of us with the knowledge and the decisions that we make that affects our school system, Lord. Lord, we just pray for all of the blessings in our lives, and we ask you to continue to bless us, Lord, for everything we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time we'll turn over to Martha for the recognition of Daingerfield High School math.
Ms. Skipper, would you like to take over and introduce your math team? Actually, okay, Mr. Brotherton, would you like to make the recognition?
Okay, you guys stand up here. These are two of the fellows that competed on the calculator team. We had four that it was Tasia Epps, Bailey Young, Carter Ford, and Cross Allen. This is Cross, and that's Carter. And the two girls are seniors, and the two boys here are juniors. And the calculator team, when we went to district, we won district. Carter got first, Cross got second, Tasia got fourth, and Bailey got fifth. But when you looked at the 36 schools that advanced on after district, we didn't look too good. If the scores had been that way at region, we weren't advancing to state. We were 22 questions behind the leading school, Callisburg, and it didn't really look good. But the team decided we weren't going to go without a fight. So what happened, I wish Natasha was here, because Natasha, she scored from region to state. She scored the biggest increase of any of the 23 kids that were there. Bailey, her district score, she scored highest from district to state than anybody had done. In fact, Bailey's score was her highest of the year, and she hadn't even sniffed it in practice. I mean, she scored like twice, 2 or 3 more questions better than she ever did at the state meet than she did even in practice. And now these two guys are consistently doing really well. Cross came in 3rd in the state in the calculator contest. There was 2 questions on it that I'd really like to brag about. One was you had to identify the slope of the curve. So if you know anything about that, that means you had to take the derivative and you had to plug the point in. And then there was another question where had 2 curves that did like this, and they wanted to know the area inside. So we had to identify the 2 points. And solve for that. So as you probably both know, that's calculus, and that's pretty good because he'll take calculus next year. So that'll be really good. Carter won won the calculator district. He got 3rd at region. his best score was at region. If we didn't do what we did at region, we weren't going. We narrowed that gap from 22 to 10 questions at region. And Carter had his best score at that time, got third place. Carter is probably our best all around. These two guys fight for one another for the calculator and the math. One wins one week, one wins the next week. But Carter is our number sense guru, and he's also ashamedly the best science. He doesn't like to admit that, but he's our best science guy also. But Carter, if he'd been in any other region, would have probably been taking the number sense test. Our region was the toughest in number sense. And Carter did real well, but just wrong region. But Carter also, at the San Antonio meet, he scored what they call the Top Gun deal. He got second. If he does that next year, he gets a big scholarship for that. But then from the region to state, we improved by 10 questions, right up to where Callisburg was. Unfortunately, they improved by 2. So they beat us by 2 questions, but they knew we were there. They knew we were there. And I was quite proud of these guys. For these two guys, we've got second this year. They were state champs last year, and they were second the year before. And I think the 4 of us will be quite disappointed if we're not coming here next year and playing the state champs. That's our goal. So, but I just want to know, all 4 of them, I wish the girls were here, and the guys, and Mr. Smith, Ricky Smith helped us this year, and Ricky Smith is a class act. One of the things Ricky told me one time is that he puts a smile on his face when he walks into school, because sometimes he thinks it might be the only smile that some of these kids will see all day. It's a class act. What I say. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, on behalf of the board, we just want to let you know how proud we are of the teachers that put forth the effort, and the students, and also the parents. Job well done.
Thank you.
Do we have any public forum?
No, sir.
At this time, we move to our consent item. Not consent item, consider the financial report for May 2015.
You're looking at me like you expect me to stand up and say something. Actually, I have one financial statement with me. The rest of them are stacked on my desk. Do you have any questions, or do you want me to go over them? I haven't been to a board meeting in a long time, so what do you do? You want me to go over them, or do you want to just, have you looked at them? Okay.
I appreciate you coming and helping me.
You are so welcome. It's good to be back in the church. Yeah, she just left all her financial statements there.
Do you have the budget?
No, we're working on it. One fire at a time.
Thank you.
Okay. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to.
Maybe you might want to, would you like to have a budget workshop?
Oh, yes. We had not planned anything between now and July. If you want to have something between now and the July board meeting, we will. Otherwise, we'll just have a workshop, say, at 5 o'clock, maybe an hour before the meeting. Is that satisfactory with y'all? Yes? No?
That's what
Sounds good.
That's what we'll do then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board? If not, I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the financial report for May.
Sure.
We move by Brother Jerry and second by Brother Miguel. All in favor, show the sign of the right hand. All hand raised. Motion carries. Now, to our consent items. Number 6. Look at the minutes from my regular meeting, May 18, 2015. Motion may be approved as presented. Moved by Mike Alcorn, second by Marie Skipper. All in favor, please right hand. Motion carried, all hands raised. 2016 proposed budget. Titus County Appraisal District.
They actually moved down just a little bit. I think they had more.
Any questions about the appraisal?
I make a motion we accept the Titus County Appraisal District budget as submitted.
By Brother Jerry Sturman, second by Brother Jim Snyder. All in favor, use your right hand. All hand raised, motion carried. At this time, we'll move down to number 7, administrative reports.
Okay, in your packet is the resignation, you have a resignation of professional staff. Please add Rachel Ashlock. She's coming in her resignation as well. We didn't have a resignation for her. And you can see our new employees. The construction report from Telus. I think the one thing Coach came in and talked to me about this morning was they were unsewing some pieces out there. You've been out there today, they've been unsewing some pieces and having to do some work underneath. They say it's not uncommon, but they said a big indicator that something is wrong is when they're putting out that gravel with that machine would make little dits. And they go back and look for those dits because that's where it was kind of, that's where they were opening up. And sometimes he said it was just a matter of moving around the rock or whatever. But they're fixing it, he said. That's the news, is they're taking care of it, making sure it's fixed. And I think Mr. McDonald's pretty good about going up there and catching it if they're not fixing it. Something about if the rocks crunch, they know there's a problem. They don't, do you know what
Compaction
about?
rate's not where they need to be.
That's what?
The compaction rate is where they need to be, needs to be like 95%.
So they fixed that. That's the dirt that found. Okay. And they also had, they call it the D zone. And remember when we were out there watching them, Mr. McDonald had to straighten that up because it wasn't drying up. And they're working on that now as well.
Remember about a blue wall. Okay.
Okay, also, Mr. Tony, you want to report on summer school?
Summer school is going well. We finished last week. Very good. We've got 32 students from West. That's kindergartners and kindergarten first grade.
Kindergarten, first and second.
Kindergarten first and second graders. We have 17 from junior high and we've got 8 from South. Some of those are pushing for the third administration of the STAR test, which is on Tuesday, a week from tomorrow. And so that's primarily what we've got well. Teachers are doing well, students are doing well, cafeteria staff are doing well. So we're pushing for a couple of weeks of good instruction and get them set for next year. Going real well.
And Linda, where's Linda? You want to give a report on the feeding program?
For breakfast, we're feeding about 45 kids, and then at lunch, it runs anywhere from 110 to 130, just according on what day of the week it is and when they want to show up at one of the parks or whatever.
All right, move down to action item. 8.1, consider approval of disposal of adoption instruction materials.
That is, this year we'll adopt all new math books for the high school and 6 through 12 adoption of social studies. And for us to be able to dispose of the old books and whatever, we have to have, we signed off by the board and just reported that we're disposing of those books. So they're just cleaning up their book lunch pretty much what it is.
I make a motion, we accept their request for disposition.
Motion by Harold, need a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Brother Mike Alcorn. All in favor, raise your right hand. All hand raised, motion carried. 8.2, consider adoption of TASB policy update 102, which affects local policy CDA, DBB, DEA, DEAA, DEAB, DEE, DFFA, DHE, FNC, and FO.
Any questions, actions,
Mark, you, some of these you had said were summary and stuff like that, but on page 5, local policy consideration, it really has to do with the DOT testing.
Right.
Are ours kind of in the same level as DOT for employees?
I'd say so.
Okay.
They test bus drivers. Do it. Rhonda, do you know how often it is? Seems like once a month? Is it that often?
No, it's like once every 2 months, I believe. It's not once a month.
They come in at random.
You also have to have records, something like that. But does everybody else have to meet those requirements too? Or
Everybody
just
else
drivers?
in the- Just the drivers, just the bus drivers, the only ones who.
Okay.
Bus drivers and coaches and
Oh,
CDLs.
yeah. Everybody that drives the bus.
Do you have any other question on the TASB updates? If not, I need a motion. Make a motion.
Excuse me, Rhonda, do you have that script? There's a certain way you have to make the motion, I'm sorry.
I move that the board add, revise, or delete local policies as recommended by the TASB Policy Service and according to the instruction sheet for TASB localized policy manual update 102.
Second.
Moved by Mike Alcorn, second. Robert Bill Lawson. All in favor, use your right hand. All hand raised, motion carries. Next item, deliberate and possible action on reduction or elimination of a local option homestead exemption. I think we have a handout at this point.
I did some calculations for you. And of course, this is just an estimate. On top, you've got the 2014 amount, and I added the Morris and the Titus together based on the 2014 last sequence recap. That was your loss. That's what you gave in that 20%. Based on the as of date 2015 non-certified recap, because we haven't certified yet, the additional $10,000 on the homestead, which of course the election will be in November. I gave you a rough estimate based on your 2014 rate of what the loss would be, in addition to the top number. That's just some ballpark figures there.
Little. Okay, and when I was in your office, you said we're not going to affect anybody in 65 or disabled.
The 65 are disabled, of course, because the regular homestead is $15,000. What this Senate bill is, if it passes in the election in November, is to add an additional $10,000 to that homestead, okay? Well, so that's going to make that homestead $25,000. The code also reads that you have disabled and over 65s get an additional $10,000. So theirs would be $35,000.
It
homestead.
actually increases the exemption.
It increases the exemption for everyone. Because it's not, even though, you know, like a regular homestead is $15,000. Well, they give over 65 and disabled an additional 10. So that it will continue. Everybody's regular homestead will be $25,000 if this passes in the November election. And
That would be effective January 1st.
of 2016. So 2015, you're not going to see this change. You know, taxpayers aren't going to see this change for 2015. They're going to vote on it in November, and it'll go into effect January 1, which is how you're assessed for each year. And, you know, you're over 65, they are frozen, but they can be reduced. So that additional 10,000, you know, will reduce their freeze.
Okay.
Which, based on your count, you have 2151 homestead counts. So that's how many accounts you have that have homesteads on them. And that's just a variety of your regular to your disabled to your over 65.
Okay, and the Senate had already voted on what the amendment is going to look like. So it is going to include that freeze. It will freeze the exemptions that are in place for the next 5 years.
As far as what it does on the school finance part, that's what I told Sandra to get with the attorney on that 5-year. Because, you know, if you offer it based on that 5-year, she was going to get with y'all's school finance attorney on that. Because that, I can tell you how it's going to affect you on the property tax, but as far as how it's going to affect you on the school financing, that'll be through that attorney. Which the email that, you know, Sandra had sent me last week when we've been following it, it said to contact your attorney. And I think that she did.
On advice to the tax, from the tax attorney and the school attorney.
That we accept.
But you know, that's an effort in collections and how the state looks at it. So you're not getting as much as what you could from property taxes in order, you know, to get that, your high percentage of collections.
Martha, by having the homestead exemption, how much do we lose from the state? That's,
Well, as far as the state.
He's
goes,
talking about
state-
on the state aid. No, I don't have that figure. Maybe this week,
But we get beat up because we're not
because you're not
collecting
maximizing.
our taxes, but because of the discounts we have, we show as we're not,
They say that you're not maximizing your effort.
right, which hurts us on our finances.
Yes, it does.
And you know, homesteads can come in and out all through the year, you know, so this is just a ballpark number. You're not gonna see, you know, a larger increase. You know, there might be 5 to 20. But usually when some come on, some come off, so it's just a fluctuation. But this is a good estimate for you to look at.
Okay, the way I see it, we currently have 15,000 in place. I believe that the November bill is gonna pass because who's not gonna vote for a tax reduction? So now we're gonna have a homestead exemption of 25 for everybody, just everyday people. And if we left our 20% in there, another, let's say $100,000 house, that means that everybody's gonna get a 45,000, or those people would get a $45,000 exemption, which is gonna cost us $500,000 every year. Yeah, right. Okay.
Have any more questions?
this is an old situation here.
Well, I don't think with that vision we can give away $500,000. we also, if for some reason that bill does not pass, we could go back and reinstate our local exemption if we wanted to.
You can do that every year.
Okay. Well, I kind of think it's going to pass, and so I think people are going to get more money for exemption. So I recommend that we delete our 20% because we're one of very few schools that are doing that.
Yeah, can we reduce our 20% to 10%?
I don't know if you can do that or not. Do you know?
Okay, it has to be an amount
Yeah.
that's not below $5,000, correct?
Yes, 5,000. Most of, every time I've seen it, it's been 20%, 5,000 or 20%, whichever is higher.
I thought in this list we had, as a matter of fact, it might be in the back of that page. The additional handout stuff. Mark, didn't we have something, here it is. It's right behind, Rachel Aslots. In the Daingerfield School District, in Morris County, Daingerfield's the only one given the exemption, Hewitt and Hugh Springs don't. In Titus, there's only 2 out of 3, 6, 7. Kent County has nobody. Cass County has 1 out of about 10 that's given it. Queen City, Bladewater, and Upshur County is the only one. And Greg, they have quite a few people given 20% discount. What I read says that we have our discount of 20% on there, then, and it passes in November, then we're going to be frozen to give 15,000 plus 10,000 plus 20% for the next 5 years.
Next 5 years, you'll block it.
And there's a deadline for this to happen.
And that's probably $3 million over the next 5 years.
What do you have all your attorney jobs? And that's one of the attorney jobs.
I recommend we adopt a resolution that eliminates our local option of 20%.
So move by Jerry Sherman to eliminate, need a second. Second by Maurice. All in favor, raise your right hand. Hold your hands up again. All hands raised except Mike Alcorn. All opposed, raise your right hand. Opposed. Motion carried. At this time, we're gonna shift just for a little bit, go into our closed session. We'll dismiss and we'll come back to open session. All right, we're back in open session. In our closed session, we talked about administrative raises and also resignations. Next item we have is action item 8.4, consider approval of administrative raises.
I make a recommendation that we table it until we have time to talk to Ms. Quarles.
Moved by Jerry Sherman, second by Jim Snyder. All in favor, raise your right hand. All hands Ray. Motion carried.
Did Morris leave?
Yes, he did.
Oh, okay. Before closed session or after?
After closed session.
Okay.
All right, this time we move down to 11, resignation, accept resignation.
I make a motion we accept the resignations of Cody Christenberry, Lindsey Jennings, David Pittman, Derek Reed, Jared Shaw, and Rachel Ashlaw.
Moved by Mike Alcorn, second by Marie Skipper. All in favor, raise your right hand. All hand raised, motion carried. Number 12, future topics.
Okay. The next meeting will be July the 20th, and we will start at 5
5?
for the budget workshop, and the meeting will start at 6. The summer leadership group will leave tomorrow, will leave Wednesday at 10 a.m. Registration will be at 3, and you have your first meeting at 5. I think that's all.
Do you have any questions or concern from the board members? Well, your motion was adjourned. Been moved to adjourn by Mike Alcorn, second by Marie Skipper. All in favor, stand.